Hey everybody, thanks for clicking. She's Breland, I'm Rich. We're less than a week from Halloween, so we wanted to make this podcast a little bit more themed.
A little spooky?
Yes, a little spooky. What will be the scariest thing we see at the Bills game against the Raiders on Sunday?
The scariest thing we will see or we could see? What would be the scariest possibility?
Sure. What's the scariest possibility?
Well, obviously, the scariest possibility would be an injury to a major player, an injury to all of the players, which is completely unlikely, but that is the scariest thing. But taking away injuries, things like that, I think the scariest thing you could possibly get out of this Bills-Raiders game is kind of a flashback, a ghosts of Buffalo Bills past, so to speak. Because you remember last year, when they played Oakland, they were 6-6, had the opportunity to get some work done in the latter half of the season, and they were there.
They got blown out in the second half of that game.
Yep.
Especially
they were right there. They had the chance to do it. They had the chance to potentially, go over that hump. And then, 15 points in the fourth quarter alone, just like destroyed them. So I think, which hopefully it doesn't happen. It doesn't seem to be the trend that we're seeing this year.
The trend this year has been uplifting and then depressing.
Yeah.
You get week one win, and then you lose to Carolina. And then back-to-back wins against two very good teams, and then you lose to Cincinnati. They just had that come from behind win over Tampa. Does that mean they're due for a head-scratching and spooky loss to the Raiders?
And that could very well be. I wouldn't necessarily say, though, that the Carolina loss was necessarily a bad loss.
No, they were literally one completion away from winning that game.
Exactly, but the Oakland loss was a bad loss. They
haven't lost to Oakland yet.
So last year.
Last year.
So that's what I was saying. A repeat of that just like complete breakdown.
I'm going to go a little off the board for scariest thing. Last week at the Bills game, we saw a dude catch on fire when he power bombed a folding table in the parking lot.
Well,
and then there was just a video. And then hear me out. So there was another video of, I believe there are two people who are engaged, and the guy power bombed his fiance through a folding table, and we're bringing the Raiders in and Raider fans.
Oh,
and it's the weekend before Halloween.
I
think the scariest thing is going to be, my goodness, what happens in those parking lots. Also, there's a chance that it rains on Sunday, so the grass lots become mud. We're going to see just disturbingly terrifying things in the parking lots.
Would you ever, take your wife and just lay her on fire on a table, Rich?
I mean, I wouldn't plan on it.
Be careful, she might see this.
I wouldn't plan on it. Okay, but as far as the game goes, now, I think what we're going to see is the Bills will have every opportunity to jump out fast. It's going to be imperative that they score quickly in early possessions because the Raiders are coming east. We've often seen teams from the West Coast, when they have a 1 o'clock game on the East Coast, have a little bit of a jet lag. They're still sort of asleep at those early game windows. So Buffalo's going to have to score quick. We saw LaShawn McCoy get into the end zone twice last week. He's going to have to do that again. They're just going to need to get 100-plus yards out of him, especially to kind of deflect that Oakland pass rush, which is very good. And then also just keep Oakland's offense off the field.
Right.
It's going to be huge for Buffalo to run. And then we've a broken record with this. Dynamic wide receivers from the opposition coming in to play the Bills.
Trey White.
Oh, my goodness. And Trey White thinks he's played poorly. Yeah. Amari Cooper had more than 200 yards last week. And he's actually catching the ball. So Bills secondary tested again. Jordan Poyer, will his knee be back? Will he be healthy? A lot of potentially scary situations for the Bills.
Right. And you know what? Going back to what we were talking about, historically, they definitely do struggle. Especially after an emotional win like that, they tend to follow it with a loss.
But these are your Sean McDermott Bills, Breland.
Yeah, I know. This is the process.
They're respecting the process.
They're defending their dirt. They're respecting the process. They're what's the other one? I don't even. There's like
winning games appears to be new as well.
Yeah, but we saw that kind of not hold true with Denver and Atlanta. So, we'll see. Maybe Sean McDermott is onto something, and maybe he can, evade the scariness a little bit.
That would be the best possible outcome. Let us know. What do you think could be the scariest outcome from the Bills and Raiders game? And as always, thanks a lot for watching.